Young ladies and gentlemen, good evening to everyone. Once again, you are welcome here on the Tribune of Awakening Consciousness. So a few days ago, we are not talking about the DRC, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, because nothing is clear in Congo. Everything is strange, everything is mixed up. I tell you with all sincerity, we are interested in the DRC's case, but when you start to understand that you understand the situation in Congo, it is at that very moment that you realize you understand nothing about Congo. Yes, everything is mixed up. But in this chaos of confusion, we must tip our hats to the Oisealando who are on a straight path, who stand firm in their boots. The Oisealando are doing very, very well. There have been many turnarounds lately. But the very good news is that the United States of America has finally decided to join the dance. The United States of America is joining the dance on the side of the DRC, but for the moment, within the diplomatic framework. So, there is very good news, as territories have been reclaimed by the Oisealendos, or at least by the government troops supported by the Oisealendos. But also, and above all, what is disappointing in this DRC affair is to see sub-regional organizations that were there to allow the DRC to continue to have control over the entirety of its territory, the integrity of its territory, that these organizations agreed to withdraw completely, handing over these localities to the authority of the M23 people. I don't know if we should still call them rebels, but listen, handing over their authority, handing over the territories to the M23 and its other auxiliaries. I tell you, the situation in the Democratic Republic of the Congo is just incomprehensible. Someone said that the DRC is caught in a global trap. Yes, it's, I believe, RH Motivation who told us, I heard it somewhere in passing, that Congo is caught in a global trap. No one knows who is behind it, and we really don't know what's happening. I'm starting to agree with him. Ladies and gentlemen, in the context of this video conference, we will talk about the global news concerning the DRC, since it's been a long time since we've discussed it. But especially the hot and burning news regarding the presence on the territory on the African land of Congo of the special envoy of Donald Trump. So, from the United States of America to Congo, Kenya, and I don't know which other country. So, before continuing, I humbly ask you to share this video conference. It should be shared in all possible groups. Share as much as you can. Yes. And give it a lot of likes. Don't forget to always leave a comment. Daring is already winning. That's our political slogan. Let's go into the depth. So, what's happening? The American president has appointed a gentleman, an envoy. So, the U.S. State Department has confirmed that this gentleman, known as an American-Lebanese entrepreneur, and, as he is already called, his name is Masad Bolos. The American department has confirmed that the latter would begin his African journey, as he is supposed to make. An African tour which he was about to start. His African tour in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, then in Rwanda, Kenya and Uganda. So he has already been present in the Democratic Republic of the Congo for nearly 12 or 24 hours. So, what do we learn? According to the official information, it is a Trumpist diplomacy, already with familial accents, since it is one of his brothers-in-law that he appointed to this position. So this shows the strategic importance that Donald Trump attaches to the situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo. So, he is a special envoy to address the Congolese crisis, with a choice that illustrates the personalization of American diplomacy. Masad Bolos is connected by alliance to the presidential family since the marriage of his heir, with the youngest daughter of the American president, so he accumulates diplomatic responsibilities. Initially, this gentleman was in charge of relations with the Arab world and the Middle East, and now he is extending his influence over the continent, African, So he's both in the Middle East, etc. And now he is in Africa. What must be said is that he is a gentleman who is already accustomed to conflict resolution. So America is trying to achieve peace in the DRC to allow America to satisfy its economic interests. Because America cannot start exploiting rare earths, rare minerals in the Democratic Republic of the Congo without peace being there. And so, to do this, Tshisekedi, who had asked America to come and exploit the Congolese lands, but America has therefore appointed this special envoy. So as we were saying, this diplomacy that America is undertaking aims to create opportunities for American investors in this region of the Great Lakes. So, on this gentleman's agenda, there are consultations with political leaders and regional economic actors. This highlights a hybrid approach to this diplomacy, as we were saying, seeking to solve the problem and also exploit the mineral. So, here's what's happening. He met with Tshisekedi, and here's what he says. He says, I look forward to collaborating with President Tshisekedi and his team to establish a deep relationship that benefits the Congolese people and the American people, and to stimulate American private sector investments in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, particularly in the mining sector, with the common goal of contributing to the prosperity of our countries. Here are the first statements from Bassat Boulos, Donald Trump's special envoy sent to the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Our comment on this is that since America has its interest, America must fight for peace to return. This gentleman then went to take a look, to conduct consultations, listen, and see to what extent the United States of America should make decisions. But also, and above all, he will consult the organizations that have withdrawn. Why did these organizations withdraw and leave the field open to the rebels? Yet they came to prevent the rebels, the M23 people, from taking possession of what belongs to the Congolese state. That is a big question. Now, what needs to be said behind all this is that we have the government troops. So, the armed forces of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, supported by the Wazalando, entered 24 hours ago. They entered the town of Walikale. You remember we talked about Walikale, which had been taken and released by the M23 people and their auxiliaries, the Rwandan soldiers and their M23 auxiliaries. And it is this locality which, according to the information we have received, has just been recaptured again by the armed forces of the DRC and the Wazalandos. So, the Wazalandos are continuing with the armed forces to reclaim as much territory as possible. The struggle continues. And Felix Tshisekedi has exponentially increased the salary of the military to encourage them, of course. But this increase is criticized by some who believe that this increase violates the law. I don't know. I'm telling you that we don't understand the Congolese. We've always said that the military is involved in betrayal, etc. But if they are involved in betrayal, it's because they are given money. To prevent them from going down the path of betrayal, the president decides to increase their salary. And then it's criticized again. You see, some say, look, there is a so-called budget expert, Valerie Madianga, an expert in public finance, who criticizes doubling the salaries of the military in the DRC without going through the parliament. The government has violated the public finance law. Here is the clarification provided by the Center for Research in Public Finance and Development, led by this so-called expert and coordinator, Valerie Madianga. So, what should be said concretely? Even if it must go through Parliament, we are not saying otherwise. But when there is an emergency, we say that Congo is under threat from movements that want to reclaim its entire territory. The soldiers are not motivated. But we must find ways to motivate the Congolese soldiers so that they are capable of defending the integrity of the Congolese territory. But when they do, Congolese people still come out to denounce. I tell you, the Congolese, we really don't understand them. If someone explains the Congolese to you, and you manage to understand, it means they explained it to you poorly. Yes. In any case, for the moment, I want it to be explained to me clearly. So we hope that Donald Trump's special envoy, his actions will bear fruit and that peace will quickly return to the DRC. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that was the highlight of the international news. Thank you for sharing it as much as possible. I will be back shortly with more news. It was the voice of your one and only samurai.